Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mouse and His Pals YouTube channel. How are you doing, fellas? I'm with Jamie, James, and Dan. How are we doing, boys?
Good.
Yeah. Happy Friday.
Yeah. Happy
Friday, everybody.
Friday. Yeah, we are live tonight doing a Wandervision episode 8 sort of rundown, like we have done the last few weeks, but obviously not on a Saturday this week. So, should we crack on?
Yeah.
Thoughts of the episode. Dan, I'm going to come to you first. I'm going to leave James till last because we know what he's like. So, Dan, what was your thoughts of episode 8?
Generally, as soon as it finished, I said it's my favourite straight away. Definitely my best one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just purely, it just showed it didn't need action. It was just all character driven. It just really pulled out like Elizabeth Olsen's like big guns, like show she can do it. It's something we've been waiting for her to show since Age of Ultron. Yeah, it's really good.
Joe?
Not my favourite. Definitely I've got episodes I prefer. I like the change in tone. You could tell this episode was a lot darker. I was looking into the grief of the character. I felt it, for me, I know it's a longer episode, but you know where it felt longer as well. Like it weren't like an easy 40-minute watch for me. I've watched it twice, to be fair. I don't know if that's played a part. But very good episode. Got some more questions to answer, but interesting. Yeah, I found it interesting.
Okay, James, before you give me any thoughts on specific points, what do you think of it?
It was all right. It weren't the worst at all by a long shot. I actually didn't mind the episode at all. I'll tell you what's making me think it wasn't my favourite. It's just because it leaves you a bit confused still. Like you don't really get much out. It asks more questions again, and I think I didn't get the satisfaction that I'm craving now. I think that's all it is, really. I think the execution of like the character becoming like you're getting to see more of is it Agnes or whatever it, yeah. Her, you get to see her a bit better, and she plays the character well, like you said, Jamie, off air. I don't know the character's background, so I'm literally taking her as I see her, and I like her portrayal of whoever this person is. She is cool, but I don't know. It was all right. Had some good bits and some bits that I'm just like, meh. It is what it is, but it's okay. It was good. It was all right.
I'm probably in the middle of all of you, like with you, Jay and James, and you, Danny. I thought it was a cracking episode. Not my favourite episode, but it was that is the calm before the storm, because we know next week shit's going to go down. Especially as that is apparently the last episode next week, apparently, even though there is rumoured to be a 10th episode.
I can't see it.
I can't see it. But then they've still a lot up in the air at the moment. So there's potential there. I thought that finally learning the story of Wanda as a whole was such a brilliant point of view for this. Because obviously she's going to play a massive part in phase 4, as we know from this point, and going on to Doctor Strange. Just learning that backstory and learning that she already had some sort of powers before before she finds out she has the powers. I thought it was a cracking little storyline. We'll go more into detail as we go, but we might as well crack on with a start. James, you said you've got a problem with the first 10 seconds of this.
I'll say it's just a little picky thing, right?
James, never.
They've got her strung up because she's a witch. Yet they're using magic to tie her to a stone.
No, James. No, I have a problem with her using evil, dark magic, not magic itself.
That's her coven.
They purposely done that. They said, are you a witch? And she says, yeah, I'm like you.
Yeah.
But that's saying, but you practiced like the dark arts. You shouldn't do that. That's what they was punishing it for. It was witches putting another witch to death because...
They even say coven in it. She also says mum.
Yeah.
I need to. All right.
Okay. Was you not paying attention?
No, of course not.
I did think that as well, but
because Emma said the same thing. So
it's not like again.
So I'll give it another watch.
I found that bit tagged on. I didn't think we needed it because you look at. Did it add anything to Agatha's character? I don't think it really did for me. It just didn't do anything for me. I think at the end
you're just playing her origin. That's all it is, because people don't know where she's come from. That's all it is. It's just a little origin story. Again, we don't know much of her. It's just a little origin.
That from verbalizing it, I just felt like
you learn more as we go along with Agatha. You'll learn so much more. It's just a little origin story. That's all it is.
But I don't think it was needed. I thought it didn't bring anything to the episode. Like, it just came across like they felt like they needed to give her backstory.
For me, it brings something in because, as you said, Dan, they're punishing her for dark magic, and this is what she's trying to get out of Wanda: dark magic. You see when he says chaos magic, that is what she's trying. That is what they're trying to get out of her.
But they could have done it to get away from.
I just like the contrast of showing that she absorbed all like the witch's powers. So that was basically Marvel saying, "Look how powerful she is. She's absorbed it." And then her saying to Wanda, "How are you doing what I can't do?" And that to me said clearly she doesn't know it, but Wanda's like obviously the ending.
Right. Do you know what? That in a positive, I can agree with what you mean by that. And like I can see that is one of the good things about that opening scene. It is kind of just sort of showing her level of power, and that she can absorb all this stuff and then absorb another one, and then it almost like throw it back, almost, you know. A bit like Harry Potter did with Voldemort with the Priori Incantatem spell. So same sort of thing. And that kind of that was okay. I didn't mind that, but I thought that was quite a cool scene. That bit, it did go on a bit. I'm not going to lie though, it went on a long time. But I do agree with Jamie. It was a bit much, but I think it was needed, but maybe not as much. But you needed some kind of context for her. Otherwise, you'd be like, "Oh, great, she's here." So
this, the first episode that we pretty much go the whole way through. There's no advert in the middle, and it is.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the whole of Wanda's life, going forward, and Agnes trying to obviously find out where she's got this power from. Now we know as a backstory that obviously Stark Enterprises plays a part in her getting powers and blah 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 from Age of Ultron. What do you think of that first sort of scene? Obviously they're in the underground dungeon. From there, going into is it right? It is Russia early doors or wherever they are. What do you think of that sort of first scene going forward?
I thought that was good. For me, that was one of my favourite parts, because a lot of people going into this show saying, why are they doing it in sitcom version? And this showed us why they did it in sitcoms, because it was one of her things to try and cover up grief. She loved sitcoms. She grew up. So I thought that was brilliant. And you even see when you look into the box of her father, all of like the shows in there were like The Wit, Malcolm in the Middle. And that's what the show, you look at it, some of the shows are like. In terms of what Max is asking, I don't think so. I think they're missing that out. But it's a good point, well made. I think she's working for Mephisto, or Mephisto's going to come along. Because when she grabbed that fly, I was adamant that Mephisto was going to show up.
Yeah.
I sort of...
But instead the rabbit ate it.
Yeah, I sort of agree with what you've said there, Joe. I actually agree with Max a little bit, because as something going into Doctor Strange, I can't see them turning Wanda back to a Avenger before then. So could Agatha be a mentor for Wanda going forward on that side of things with the chaos magic, sort of as another bad? Potentially, Max. Potentially, she could well be a mentor for her, but not in the way we want her to be a mentor. Going more dark side. That's the way I could potentially see it happening. So
maybe like a bit of a rogue. Like she's not good, she's not bad, but like the Avengers may not agree with what Agatha does, but maybe Wanda does in a way because it's more common ground. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Which is why I like this. No one knows.
Agatha's very odd though in the comics, because at certain points, like she helps out like the Fantastic Four, and then sometimes she's like a villain. She's weird in the comics, Agatha. Like you can't figure her out.
I think that's the best thing about the comics, and also probably the hardest thing that the MCU has to do. There's so many different storylines in comics. Like, we'll come onto it further on down the line with the end credit scene. I read up on that storyline earlier. And there's so many different storylines that they can sort of drag from. I think, again, you could get a bad sort of Agatha now. 4 movies down the line, you can sort of see her turn good with Fantastic Four, potentially. So, yeah, it's interesting. Max put she could be very powerful against the Phase 4 villain.
Witches.
Yeah, potentially. But again, that's going to come down to, well, also we have no idea where that's going to come down to, really, because we don't know. So, so going on from that first scene, obviously we see her parents get killed. It's the first time we actually see her mother and her father. So does that sort of go off the fault we said of her being a mutant?
Well, I can use that word now because they've now called her Scarlet Witch because they're allowed to.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing. I don't think she's a mutant because also we learn in this episode is she had the powers before she got the Mind Stone. Like, that's what we kind of gauge from this. The Mind Stone just kind of escalates it. Like,
does that put her even more into being a mutant, that she had it from birth?
I think she's a witch. I think she's a witch, if anything, more. But I don't know. It's...
What I kind of got from that, it was like they were showing it, because I've always known, like, there's a big scene in one of the X-Men films, like, you don't know, Deadpool, you don't know you're going to bring out your gene through trauma or pain or whatever. I thought that's what was going to bring it on, because they don't really say exactly. It's the thing with the Stark bomb. I thought that was going to be, she's done it before, but she didn't say, oh, I done it. She said it was just, we say it was a probability curse. No, it just didn't go off.
Yeah.
So it could be. We don't know, but yeah.
I didn't mind the backstory. I thought the backstory was okay because obviously I'm just taking everything in. I liked the pros of it. Is that I like the fact that it kind of hinted to why we've got all these different sort of eras, sort of things with all the little sitcom TV shows and stuff. The thing I wasn't overly impressed with is the casting. I didn't think she looked anything like what's her face, like Wanda.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, Elizabeth, like nothing like her, and that bothered me instantly. It wound me up. I'm like, that's not even, doesn't even look remotely like her.
But not every.
Put someone with like red hair in there
because she doesn't have red hair at the start.
Well, no, I'm just being sarcastic, Daryl. The fact that girl looked nothing like her.
Yeah, but then,
James, I had literally bleached blonde hair when I was a kid, like naturally.
Not every child I don't know what's going on. Not every child looks the same as they do when they're an adult.
It looked nothing like her, and it really wound me up, wicked. It's like it wound. I tell you what, the last time I was that annoyed was when, in Harry Potter 7, when they put young Lily had bright brown eyes. When when Harry Potter had bright green eyes and supposed to have the eyes of his mother. That wound me up.
That's stupid because that's just something. That's an eye, but you can look different to someone else.
No. That's a fair argument.
That is Harry Potter. The Lily argument is fair. I totally agree. But this argument that she doesn't look anything like her. One, good luck finding something that looks like. Good luck finding something that looks like Elizabeth Olsen. Good luck. For one.
Can we talk about the plot?
Distinguished sphinxes.
Just annoyed me.
Can we talk about the plot?
It annoyed me.
James gets annoyed by littlest things, and he annoys me.
Yeah,
so
you both.
So you get annoyed by the littlest things as well, Daryl.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, only one little thing.
They literally clash. It's like this, and it's like just have sex and get it over and done with. For God's sake.
This is a PG channel.
Yeah. Can we beat that up? Right. Next, my favourite scene was probably the bit where we've got Loki's staff. Are we calling that the Tesseract? We're not, are we? Is that the Tesseract?
That's not the Tesseract.
No, it's not the Tesseract.
No, it's the Mind Stone, but it was in the
Mind Stone.
Yeah, it was in the set.
Her breaking that apart was very good. That's a very good scene.
and we see like the proper uniform of Scarlet Witch, don't we? Because obviously in the Halloween thing, they call it a classic Sokovian, I don't know. And in this, we could tell it's a James. We could tell it was Scarlet Witch's uniform. It was good.
Yeah, no, I was pleasantly pleased with that bit. And what was
the only thing that annoyed me with that bit, it just made me not annoy me, it just made me laugh.
Is it because she didn't look like Wanda?
Yeah.
At least she did look like Wanda.
It was just it was just a bit when the like scientists watched it on playback. She didn't just fall. It was like a glitch. I was like, I don't know. It wasn't showing as though the video cut out. They were showing that's what happened in real life. Like if they was looking at it through the naked eye, she just appeared on the floor. But I don't know if that's. I don't know. It just made me laugh a little bit.
That was weird, wasn't it? That thing.
I get it. They're showing that it wasn't happening, but I don't know.
Was there anything of the flashback series that you didn't like? Obviously, I'm not going to go for every part because there's different bits. James? Is there anything we didn't like or anything we really liked about it?
I liked it all. Apart from that little bit I just said, I did not like it. It was just weird, but I just found it so heartbreaking that it was like I said in the past episodes, we're trying to go through all this grief that we'd never had with Wanda going through all the films. We finally got it, but it was in one big episode, one by one. Yeah. And obviously that bit where she's just sitting with Vision, like straight after Pietro's died, and he's just like laughing. He's like, I don't understand. Like, that line, what is it? Love is just. I'll have to find it in a bit, but that got me. That bit. It's quite really emotional. Really well done.
Yeah, powerful.
I forgot what I was going to say. What was I going to say?
Probably talk rubbish anyway.
Oh, you too. Oh my god.
You said about the grief that's been building up for obviously 8 episodes now, and I think that was the first. Obviously, we've all thought it, but this is the point where we realise this show is about grief. It's about a woman's grief and depression and stuff like that. And that bit where we go into Sword, I thought this is a cracking part of the episode. Do we think now that obviously we've seen it, is Hayward going to be a big bad for a while? Could he be Ultron? There's rumours that he could be Ultron.
You need to look back at one of the episodes. I can't remember. I think it was episode 3 or 4 where he says she stole the body. She never did. So that suggests that he's manipulating people. Obviously, he's tried to bring Vision back to make a weapon, and it looks like he's now succeeded. I think he is. I think he's a bad. Don't know if he's Ultron, but I think his underlying aspirations are a threat. That was
I think he's just like a B-level villain, just someone to try and put a spanner in the works. I don't think it's anything more.
Like,
fair enough.
There's a lot of ways they could take him, but I don't think they're gonna do anything massive.
Because they even put him in like a bit of a good light when she went down, when she broke the glass. He said, "No, like let her, like she needs this kind of thing." But then brought it straight back again. It's like that's as far as you go, kind of thing. Like
it's also what the stuff he said, like bringing.
I think he wants her to bring him back to life at that point.
Oh, of course, yeah. When at the end, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it was also the way he was saying,
obviously,
like bringing him back online and stuff. It was like he didn't. I think that shows the characters. Like she saw Vision as a real person. He saw Vision as a weapon, as like an item. Like that was the contrast in the two characters. And the last line before she leaves, where she says, "I can't feel you," that hit me. Because the last sign that he ever says to her in Infinity War is, "I can feel you." It was brilliant. I thought that was great.
Yeah, Max has put, do you think the Phase 4 villain will be something to do with witches and magic? I still think it's Mephisto, which obviously is the devil, which obviously the witches could definitely play a part in that. And we know that from comics and what we've read. So, yeah, Max, I do believe magic and witches play a part, and I think they're building Wanda up to be a massive part of that as well.
The other thing that they don't talk about in Spider-Man Far From Home, they obviously, one of the teachers mentions witches, which a lot of people forgot about, which when you now watch this, and this is set before, you kind of go, oh, now that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that bit back.
Definitely.
When they're in Venice.
Definitely got potential to have magic and witches involved, but I still think Mephisto's going to play a part. Been too many rumours for it not to be Mephisto for me.
And the children, like.
Yeah. But we've said this now. We've said this for 6 weeks, and we still ain't seen him.
No.
I
can't. I'll tell you what it is. I think I want to care. That's what it is, and I feel like when Wanda shows her emotion, like I see the human side of her, not the the god side of her, wherever she is.
That's good, though, ain't it?
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that is good. But then the story manipulates her into her being this bad thing. So then the care goes. And then
they're just building a story up with it, though.
I know, but you want to care, don't you, when you're watching it? Like when I cared about Iron Man, I cared about.
I think I care for her even more now because of the grief.
The thing on that, James, is do you think that's them showing us that through all this grief, through all this stuff that she's gone through, there's still people out there trying to pin stuff on her, trying to literally make her seem like the villain, when in reality, all she's trying to do is get closure. She's trying to have a normal life, trying to make her life as happy as possible.
That's life in general. If someone's going through depression bad, right, all they think of is people are against them, which she does right now. She thinks there's a lot of people against them and against her, and she doesn't know. She hasn't really clocked onto what she's going through, and all these things getting pinned against her, and she's like, "Why is everyone against me?" That is really what she's thinking. That is life. That is depression. It happens from a personal experience. I know that feeling.
And they touch on it as well. That scene again when Vision comes in, where he doesn't know how to say it, but he's basically saying, "If you want to talk, you can talk to me." But it's like obviously in his little android way, and she says, "Why we're talking about it help?" And I think I didn't see it at first. It's only until thinking about it a couple of hours after I thought that must hit home. If someone's really watched this and they're going through a similar thing, that must hit home. Like why does talking help? And obviously when he just sits there, and I've just found that line: "What is grief if not love persevering?" And it's never a line I would have heard ever outside of these films and stuff like that. And I just think that's such a good line. It just must sit well with so many people.
You bang on, absolutely bang on. Let's move on to the bit sort of like the end of the episode where she drives into Westview, finds the house that obviously Vision has said this is where they grow old and die. That is one hell of a scene. The building of the house, going through the stages, building Vision, sort of with the part of the Mind Stone that is still in her, and the creation of the Hex. I think the look and the cinematography of that scene is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's well made. Like, see that sort of style. That's probably one like the things like you can tell that the programs had a good budget. Like the cinematography, the special effects are straight out of the movies. Like they're faultless, really. You can tell they're that good because no one talks about them. If they were bad, people would talk about them.
There's not been a bad looking Marvel movie, has there, an MCU movie or TV show? Like,
not
ever.
really. Like, some people have complained about like Bruce Banner's head inside that Iron Man. Little things, but
did he say Chris Banner or Bruce Banner?
Bruce Banner.
I thought you said Chris Banner. I was getting confused.
Bruce Banner.
No, he said Bruce. He said Bruce.
I was getting worried.
Few and far between. So, but that is one of the positives of this show. 100%. The special effects are great.
And I think it also showed that she could have stopped. She made the house, she stopped, and then she expanded it. So that was interesting. I do wonder, though, that letter, who put the letter there? who put the letter. I just
Did
don't
she
know.
pull it out of her coat? I need to watch it again.
It was on her car seat, weren't it?
It was on a car seat. I think that could be something to do with.
To me, that just shows it was Vision basically bought it for her.
Was it Vision? Because,
or was it?
Because it was signed Somewhere to Grow Old. V.
But is that someone acting as Vision to put it in her car? Because obviously she arrived in the car, and then she'd gone back, and it's there.
Yeah. Like, we also don't see it not being there before, so she could have already had it. This is probably a question that we might get. She could have had it. It could have been put in there because she wasn't really.
I just think that's maybe looking too much into it. I honestly think that's just a really touching thing. Like they were going to, after it all was all going to, they just wanted to have a settled down life. But yeah,
she wasn't shocked to see something on her car seat, was she? Like, I think she might have had it, but again, we might find out next week. When her and Agnes at the end, or Agatha, and she calls her finally Scarlet Witch, I'm so buzzed because I can finally call her Scarlet Witch now. That was such a good ending to this episode 8, where it's, as I said before, the calm before the storm. Next week's going to go off. I'm telling you, proper go off.
Will it be an hour long?
More, Jay. One sec, Jay. Max has put again, and thanks for commenting, Max. It's been good to have you on, mate. After Wandervision, I haven't seen any villain Phase 4. I haven't seen any end villain Phase 4 for Galacticus. Maybe he still has a big role. Potentially, again, it could be him. It could be Mephisto. It could be Nightmare. They're the 3 that I'm seeing. I'm seeing more for Mephisto right now than anything else. But Galacticus is massive because of Fantastic Four.
If Fantastic Four weren't around, Galacticus probably wouldn't be thrown about. I think because everyone knows Galacticus is huge. He's been.
I don't even know who Galactus is.
Galacticus is the biggest villain.
But this is the issue with this show, that it doesn't appeal to people that ain't huge fans.
James, but you don't need to know.
James, I'll argue that
right now. Like WandaVision.
James,
when I first
started
watching these films, the first Avengers film, when Thanos turns around in that post-credit scene, I didn't have a clue who Thanos was. So I'd done my digging, I'd done my research, and when I realised who he was and what he's going to do, I thought they're laying the groundwork now, and he didn't come until the very end of Phase 3. I know it took a long time, but for me, that's not a long time. That's an enjoyable watch. It's a slow reveal, and obviously, it's just they're just doing it again. I think I don't know much about Galactus. I just know who he is.
You're bang on there. You don't care now, but you care in the future. We all love Thanos as a villain, but as you said, Dan, I had no idea who Thanos was. I'm not a comic book reader. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea really, apart from things that I'll pick up on from reading stuff. But I won't read the comic books per se.
And there's been no teasing who Galacticus is going to be in the show yet. The only reason that James has heard the name Galacticus is because people are throwing it out there.
That's the biggest one for me. We've had tips and inklings to Mephisto, but nothing to Galacticus yet.
Yeah, Max said Galactus supposedly brings peace to the universe.
That's the aim.
Yeah, but he
also eats.
What I've heard, he's the strongest. He's the strongest big bad of the lot.
Well, ain't Marvel supposed to bring peace to the universe? Ain't that why she's flying around to different? So this is the problem I have with Marvel. It's just that I don't know. It's just like constant, it's never ending. That is it. And I don't want to be like that person, but I think someone's got to when it's just completely rose tinted all the time. That's all. And it's just, I don't know.
I don't get why you said we're all rose tinted, because we know there's problems with it, but then we love seeing all the different superheroes. It's great. And when you get to the Avengers films, everyone loves the Avengers films because they're all together.
I think the main thing you always have, you have to go into each Marvel film, every TV show, not expecting a full set of answers, like when you walk out. That's ultimate, unless you're watching like an Endgame or Avengers. Like, let's be honest, the only Marvel movie we've all watched and at the end we feel like we've got every answer was Avengers Endgame.
Not at all, because you don't get a full answer from that, because you don't know what happens with Sam and
No. If you stopped watching Avengers Endgame, you could walk away and go, "I'm done with the MCU, and I've had all the answers done."
Okay. I could tell
Which
that was the end of phase 1, 2, and 3. They're probably going to call that something else.
Yeah,
James, going back to what you were saying, like I like hearing your point of view. Like I know we argue, but I know it's because I'm so invested. And obviously, I watched them from 2008 onwards. We've had to wait, probably likewise these two. We've had to wait for so long. You just kind of binged them really recently. Like a lot of people are having that, same as like Kerry's brother's doing it now. He's not going to have that build up of the anticipation, the excitement. You had it in one go, so it's not as impactful. But I do like hearing your points because it kind of grounds me a little bit to say, how do people that aren't really a big fan see it as just a normal film going experience?
I want to be invested because obviously of what we do on here, and like I'm going to watch it. It's going to be one of those things that even if it's not my cup of tea, I'm going to get through it, whatever it is. It's just I just want to try and see it from. I'm trying to look at it from other points of view. Now, the three of yous are quite knowledgeable, so generally 9 times out of 10 you can answer any questions that I have. But I think it's more from my point of view where I'm more of a genuine audience goer. As such, like I have my certain, like if they just say for example Iron Man didn't die in Endgame, I'd be buzzing to see the next Iron Man film because there's certain characters that I really, really root for and really like. I just think going forwards, I think with the Phase 4, the ones I'm looking forward to are Spider-Man and probably what they do with maybe how Ant-Man maybe comes into it at some point, and where Guardians goes with Thor. But really, other than that, I've got to try and this has got to try and get me back on board a little bit. So
could you have said the same thing? Could you have said the same thing after, because the first lot was Iron Man 4. Who else is in that first lot?
Iron Man 1,
Captain America. You had that lot early. We had no idea what Guardians was going to be like at the time. We had no idea what Ant-Man was going to be like at the time. Right, we've got Eternals coming up at the end of this year. Shang.
Can't wait for James to see that.
Like we've got these, but
that's what I mean.
But then you had no idea.
Where have they been for the last 22 movies?
Did you have any idea who Guardians were after the first 11 movies? What did you think of Guardians before that? Before you see Guardians, what was your thoughts? Exactly the same as this, probably. Because it is that same point, but you had no idea. So going into these, you've got to be in that same boat of, okay, these could be as good as Guardians. Like we really could get another crack in Guardians because we have no idea who they are. Literally no idea. All right, it is more characters, blah blah blah, but it is adding fuel to this massive raging fire that we've got going on that is MCU right now. It's only going to keep adding good things.
I hope.
It's like a football team. Players come and go, but you just get replace. I think
if you go in with low expectations and then they exceed it, the movies exceed it, then that's fine for me. I want that. That's what I want. So going forward, I think I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the Winter Soldier and Falcon and the Loki show. I want to see what they're about. And Black Widow. I think that'll be a good film, to be honest.
James, how would you feel if Devil Dinosaur came into the Marvel comics? Because I think you'd probably like him.
Devil Dinosaur.
He's a Marvel villain.
Shut up. There's one called Devil Dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur. There's one called Devil Dinosaur.
There is.
James is now like, give me that dinosaur.
I'm back on board.
And you want to hear the good thing? He's part of the mutant side of it, so he feasibly could actually come into it now that they've got that.
Turns up, then I'm James.
If it turns up, James is doing daily episodes on the Devil Dinosaur.
Why the Devil Dinosaur is the best in MCU.
Going back to your point, James, I do kind of agree with you. My films I'm looking forward to the most going forward is Black Panther, Captain Marvel, because we've already got a relationship with them.
I really liked the Black Panther film. I thought
that's the one for me. That's the one that is really, I'm intrigued by how they going with Chadwick, losing Chadwick.
Yeah.
Again, that is for a whole nother podcast, which we can do after Wandervision, because we've got a week in between. We can definitely do a sort of big Marvel where we think it's going. But those are the ones I look forward to the most because we've got a relationship with them. But I also looking forward to learning these new characters going forward. Like learning who Agatha was now is so interesting to find more characters going into this. It's great. But we've gone well off topic.
So the question is now, what do we think happens in the last episode?
Before that, let's talk about the end credit scene. Okay.
Yeah.
The end credit scene. Unbelievable. And I'll read it out, James. I'll read out what I've read. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, we go back to Haywood and Sword outside of Westview, the Hex. And
thanks,
we have a Vision he's sort of in a box, in a container. He looks like Vision, but he's white. It is white. He's not no colour.
Vision.
The Indominus Vision.
This is what
everyone's been drinking.
What I've read on the bit, and it's quite a long bit. Okay, see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, so the origin of Vision's white costume. Vision's white costume dates back to 1989 storyline called Avengers West Coast Vision Quest. There, Vision's body is completely dismantled, forcing Hank Pym, however you pronounce it, to attempt.
Hank the one from Ant-Man.
Yes. Yeah. Hank Pym to attempt to put him back together. While Pym is able to physically reassemble the synthesoid minus his damaged skin, restoring his artificial mind proves to be an impossible task. There's no way of recovering Vision's memories. Worse, Vision was originally reprogrammed by the Avengers using the brain patterns of Wonder Man. Wonder Man refuses to allow his mind to be copied a second time. The result is that Vision is reborn with none of the memories or latent humanity that made him who he was. He's a cold, unfeeling android, a literal blank slate. His new white costume reflects that transformation, retaining the basic shapes and designs of the original, but eliminating all traces of colour. That new look was immortalised on the cover of the West Coast Avengers, number 45, a tribute to Vision's first appearance in the 1968 The Avengers 57. White Vision in the MCU, obviously there are a lot of differences between the comic book and the MCU incarnations of Vision. For one thing, the MCU version has no connection to Wonder Man, a character who is yet to make a true appearance in the universe. The MCU Vision is instead built on a foundation of Tony Stark's old AI unit, Jarvis, and given life by the Mind Stone. I'm not going to read on any more from there because it sort of goes into where we could go. So that is the origins of
Blank Slate.
Blank Slate.
So they can manipulate and give him what they want. Is that what
the original Vision was a mix of Jarvis and the Mind Stone. This one's totally different.
I've got that wrong.
And Ultron. Yeah, he was
Age of Ultron, that was the plan. Ultron wanted to be Vision's body, but they stole him and then made him into Vision. Vision was going to be like the big bad. Like, obviously not in the comics either, but that was the idea of Ultron wanted.
Right.
So this blank slate, we obviously know Hayward's got something to do with it. He can weaponize him. That's what he wants to do. Going forward, then, we know that, as Jamie asked, what do we think goes on in this last episode? Potential.
I think Scarlet Witch is going to have to bring down Vision. Like, she's going to have to bring down Vision as kind of to get over her grief. She's going to have to take down this artificial intelligence to try and stop S.H.I.E.L.D. Because let's be honest, S.H.I.E.L.D. still see her as the villain right now. So I think they're going to send this in and she's going to be seen as having to take that down and Agatha down. I think that's the main plot of the next episode.
I don't think they're going to show it. I think they're going to show what they're going to do with him. So we're getting this anticipation. Oh my God, this guy is, you're going to see what they're going to do with him. And then it's going to end on, before the what you're saying will probably eventually happen. I think it'll end before that happens. So we get a new season, and in the new season, it will be focusing on that.
We're not getting a new season.
We're not.
They haven't confirmed that they won't. There could be a new season, but the new season will be set after the events of Doctor Strange. So
this whole thing is getting climaxed in one episode.
No, James. That's what we've been telling you. Don't expect all your answers from this next episode, if it is, because it's already confirmed that she's turning up in Doctor Strange. So
let me go. Come back to me after then. Let me have a quick think.
Because from what we've been told, yes, it's not been confirmed there's a second season, and there could be, but from what we've been told, this is going to be a one-hit wonder moving on to Doctor Strange. The last 2 episodes, we've seen very little of Vision, Darcy Lewis, Wu, obviously the kids. All these characters at some point have got to come in to this next probably hour and end it somehow. The Hex has probably got to go, which means we'll lose
a lot to do in an hour.
Which means we'll lose Vision, because we've got to lose Vision at some point, because we're pretty sure that he doesn't survive past the Hex. Right? I think the new Vision comes into the Hex, they have a fight, Vision loses, and that's how we get another bad going forward. I don't know where we go with Wanda. I really have no idea, because she's got to be. We can't turn her from grief-stricken to normal in 9 episodes. It can't happen. And I think the 9 episodes, they said, is over about a month period. It just physically can't happen. If they do it, it'd be very silly. Do we get the boys back? Or is Agnes lying? Are they dead already?
No, they're alive. Because we haven't seen...
I don't know. Dan, what do you think on that?
I think going back, I think I said a couple of episodes ago, the first trailer they revealed, which I haven't heard this line yet, and as soon as episode 8 finished, I'm thinking it's going to tie in. Vision saying, Wanda saying Westview's our home, and then Vision saying, well, let's protect it, let's defend it. Sorry, he hasn't said that line yet, so I think you're right. White Vision's going to come in, and they're going to fight. And it'll be like a sacrifice thing. They'll have to like merge or something. I don't know. Yeah, Vision's going to die at the hand of this White Vision, and then because they don't know about Agatha outside, so Agatha might be her turning point to be a little bit of a protagonist and help Wanda. But then go into Doctor Strange and try and fight. It might be a case of finding Wanda and bringing her back away from Agatha. That might be what I think is going to happen. The boys are definitely alive, because she's already said, I've got no idea who these kids are. I think they are a projection, but they do become integral. They've got to, because obviously the future of the MCU going forward. But that's pretty much what I think.
If you go via the comic side of things, Mephisto takes the kids and uses their souls to make him stronger. So we really could see that could be the end of the kids.
Yeah,
I hope not, because they're two good characters, Wiccan and Speed as well. Again, we're such an open blank slate right now that we really don't know. Max, you've got a couple of minutes if you're still watching, to let me know what you think is going to happen while we sort of wrap up. It's got to be an hour long, and next week it's got to be a longer episode.
It'll be 45 minutes.
First thing I noticed was it's 46 minutes episode. I was like, oh, it's buzzing. So it's going to be a long one.
The other thing, we've seen nothing of Spectrum, Proton, Monica, whatever we want to call it. We've seen nothing of her today. And obviously, the last thing we see was her eyes go purple. She's got to play a big part next week, right? She's got to come to Wanda's aid.
I reckon. What's her face does as well. I think they've got to have a bit more say. Surely. What's her name? The other one. The one that got brought in
Darcy.
Next week.
You just said that.
Darcy.
Oh, Darcy. Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy plays a part. The last thing we see of Darcy was
she was on the outside.
No, she was sitting. Last thing we said, Darcy, she was sitting.
On the outskirts of Westview. She was in the outskirts of Westview.
This is the only reason why I think we could have a double episode over the next 2 weeks, because there's rumoured for a 10th one. There's so much to fit in 1 hour episode, which is your bang on, James. There's so much to fit in. They could do it because of where we go with obviously Doctor Strange. We're still waiting for that cameo from someone as well. They said someone turns up and it's massive, and I really don't think it was her brother. I just don't think that's big enough. Max has put, I think Wanda will be forced to work for Agatha, and that will lead us into the next phases to really start the next phase. Yeah, potential. Very much so. Especially with the multiverse coming more into play. And we've obviously seen Pietro be brought over. Easy.
Agatha could be a tier 2-ish Ultron villain, I suppose, as opposed to Thanos.
Yeah, I don't think they get rid of Agatha in next week. She's around for a while, for sure. That'd be such a big actress and a big reveal for a 3-episode run. So I do agree with you, Max, there. Anything else you want to say on this episode, boys, before we call it a night?
Yeah. We didn't touch on it. Well, two things. Going back on the episode length, could it be a feature-length one? Like James, what they've done with the Lost season finale. It's episode 18 and 19, whatever, but they counted as one long hour-and-a-half episode, didn't they? Maybe.
Right,
Who knows? But the main thing we didn't touch on, that actually did wind me up, and I hope this is a fake out as well. They called him, like, it's fake Pietro.
Fake Pietro.
Yes, Pietro. Like, I was a bit like, did they cop out on that? Because that was my main thing. If they fake out on that, I'm going to be a bit pissed off.
Me too. That will be a real.
He is Pietro from the X-Men.
Yeah.
Like,
he's got powers.
Yeah, if that's not real, what they could have cast him as anybody. Don't bring in and give everyone hope that it is Pietro from the X-Men from a different multiverse. Don't do that. If they do that, people are going to be raving, honestly. Yeah. People are going to be raving.
James is going to be livid.
James will just be confused. We don't
James will be there like, I thought that was Double Dinosaur. That was Double Dinosaur.
It is. That would just be like, it'd be like bread to my butter. I can understand. That would annoy me, to be honest. It would, because I'd just be like, it's almost like it'll be the equivalent of in the next Jurassic World film, them doing absolutely nothing with the little girl after the whole plot build up of her being a clone. It'd be the exact same thing. That would annoy me.
Yeah, but she was pointless anyway.
That'd be really annoying. That'd annoy me so much. Dan, not even buying.
Max has they mentioned he has been recast as Pietro. Yes, but
it's who it is.
It's who it is. Darcy at that point does not know Pietro as Quicksilver from X-Men. That's why she thinks he's been recast. We could, as we said, we think he is. You could have recast him as anybody if it wasn't going to be Pietro from X-Men. But that is that. Max, Max has put? There's also one massive down point today about the episode. We'll get his comment on that in a second.
And then we'll finish up if you want.
I'd love to see an hour-and-a-half episode of feature length. I would, because, as you said, he's bang on. Max put not enough Jimmy Woo. Bang on.
I see now, if they made a series about him going around doing this stuff, like even we said about how good that would be, I'll be all over that. That'd be more my thing.
I want Jimmy and Darcy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Jimmy Woo is is fantastic for Reed Richards. Like, I'm just calling it now. Let's just make him Reed Richards.
It'd be
perfect. If John Krasinski turns up, he'll just look at him and go, I don't care about you. I'm fucking Reed Richards.
Okay.
The Marvel fan base has the power to do that.
Jamie's shit ending. My last point is whatever we get from next week, they've got this series probably about 98% bang on. Right? Obviously, a couple of problems we've had so far, but we are literally coming to the end of this, and they've got it bang on so far. I can't see him fucking next week up. Sorry for swearing. I can't see him screwing next week up. Do you know what I mean? I just can't see it. I'm so buzzed for next Friday. Yeah. Jimmy Woo to be the one to beat the next phase villain.
Basically, he's going to make
with magic.
I am Iron Man look like fuck all.
All right,
he's going to make it nothing.
We're going to call it a day there. As you can see down the bottom, we are on Twitter. We are on, obviously, YouTube if you're watching us now. We're on Instagram, Facebook. We've got group pages as well. We've all got personal Instagrams and stuff as well. So please find us, please follow us, please interact. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. We are getting a lot more interaction, a lot more followers, which is great. Also, please, can you go and like and subscribe to Jurassic Unicast, which is James and Steve's other page, other site. Also, can you please go and subscribe to the Pretty Bubbles podcast, which is mine, James's, and Matt's other page. And we'll leave Dan alone because he's a gooner and he is relishing down in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, can't hear him.
Yeah, boys, thank you very much again today. Max, it's been a pleasure you joining us.
Cheers, mate. We like interacting with people.
Max, I'll tell you what, next week, we won't have you on for the whole lot, but we'll get you on for about 10 minutes. You can discuss next week's final episode with us as well. Instead of just writing comments, we'll get you on and get you involved in the show as well. So as I say, please like and subscribe. Please follow us as you can. We are back on. Are we doing a live next Thursday?
I don't think we'll do a live because it'll be the Beauty and the Beast quiz thing. It might be off air, but we'll be back. It'll be aired on Monday, won't it? The following Monday.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday with our.
I don't know.
We'll be back next Monday with our actual episodes, and this bonus episode will carry on.
Yeah, well, this will be Friday or Saturday, most likely, won't it?
Saturday, because I'm back to work, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so thanks,
What
boys.
about a live watch-along for the finale?
I don't think live because we're all so many questions.
We can do it like if we're watching like this, it'd be fine, but we won't be able to have the sound on.
And I'd have to watch it.
Or just record it and then send you recorded clips and then maybe someone mash it up so it's all timed correctly. Don't know. Just an idea.
We'll work it out.
We'll work it out. If I watch it live with James and he starts saying stupid stuff, I'm going to have to dive through the screen.
No, if any of you talk while watching it, I would look. Start watching the film. If any of you talk, I will want to kill you and use a word that I'm not allowed to use on this sort of podcast.
Watch the final first, and then we could maybe do a watch along for the second time.
James, I don't want anyone to talk while I'm watching a show, or I will call you a certain word.
Leave it there before you two start having a Barney.
Stop now anyway.
The Bubbles podcast will be, I think, live tomorrow at 3:00 after the West Ham City game where we get drummed about 5-0. So if you would like to follow us, Max, I know you follow us on there. Please come join us about 3:00. Dan, I would say come join us, but you probably might. We are going to call it a day. I am knackered. Cheers, boys. Thank you very much. And see you later on. Bye, guys.